businesses are closed.
Yes.
You're over here looking inside businesses when they're closed.
Is that a crime?
When they're closed, yeah.
I'm
I did not accuse you of loitering.
No. I'm saying I'm the only one here.
No, that's a lie.
So is the building under suspicion? What's your issue with me right now?
There's no issue, ma'am.
So
Other
can
than
I go?
all I did was ask you a question.
So can I go?
No.
So I'm being detained?
As of right now. You need to identify yourself.
Welcome back to the LackLuster channel. On November 25th of 2021, a viewer named Meka was enjoying an evening stroll in downtown Manchester, Georgia. Thanksgiving dinner was over. Black Friday was on the horizon, and as she walked past the shops, she looked through the store windows to view the merchandise. An officer of the Manchester Police Department notices her, and as she returns to her vehicle, questions her about her activity.
When you over here walking around looking at business?
Is that a crime?
When they're closed, yeah. When you're over here loitering, yeah.
It's not loitering.
Yeah.
So if I walk around...
Listen to me, okay? All I'm asking is what you doing over here looking at business and all that. And then you come over here and you walk and get in your car. I guess you about to leave, right?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, well, it's my job at night.
Can you call the supervisor, please?
For what?
Where's Couch? Because I know that I'm not committing a crime.
Ma'am, I'm not saying you're committing a crime, lady.
Is loitering a crime?
Ma'am, yes, loitering is a crime, but you gotta understand. I'm trying to see why you're over here looking at the businesses.
I don't have to have a reason because it's not a crime. I'm actually a business owner.
Okay, that's fine.
And a resident of Manchester.
And then why don't you just say that? Do you have a business over here?
No, I don't, but I don't have to. That's not a crime.
Ma'am, you're not understanding what I'm saying. The businesses are closed.
Yes.
You're over here looking inside businesses when they're closed. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know you, right? And then you get in your car, and I'm assuming you're about to leave, right?
Yes, and all that seems suspicious to you. But to me...
Ma'am, that is my job to come over here and make contact with people. It doesn't matter what you think it is.
This is harassment.
It's not harassment,
yes,
ma'am.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
and
not.
I'm going to be...
This is my supervisor right here if you want to talk to him, okay?
That's fine. And I'm going to speak to Couch on Monday.
Okay, that's fine.
Hi, how are you?
Good, about you?
I'm pretty good. Well, I was having a very good Thanksgiving until I encountered this gentleman.
Okay.
So, what's the problem? Can you tell him
Ma'am, I just explained to you what the problem was.
Tell him what the problem was.
All I'm saying is you're walking down Main Street looking at businesses as they're closed, okay?
Yes.
I don't know what you're doing, so I swoop around, you get back in your car, and I assume you're about to leave, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, that's my job as an officer here, to check on businesses at night, right?
It's only 8:30.
It doesn't matter, they're still closed.
I understand that, but do you know that...
Ma'am, all I am is making contact with you and seeing what you're doing. Guess what? I would have walked away and gone with my business. That's
if I had what?
You're making it a problem.
No, I do have a problem with you. Because
Ma'am, you just told me it's harassment. It's my job.
It is harassment. Okay. If I'm minding my business, I'm not breaking any law. I can walk.
Ma'am, no one said you're
wrong.
And he can stop and talk to anybody.
And he can stop and talk, but he accused me of loitering.
I did not accuse you of loitering.
What's your issue with me right now?
There's no issue, ma'am.
So can I go?
All I did was ask you a question.
So can I go?
No.
So I'm being detained?
As of right now. You need to identify yourself.
For what?
Well, probably because of the encounter didn't go as normal.
No, there's no encounter. This just happened 2 seconds ago.
Right.
There hasn't been an encounter.
That happened a little bit more than 2 seconds because I was up on top of the mountain when he called it out.
He called it out and said what?
That he was out with a subject here crossing the bank.
When did I become a subject? All I did was...
What was he supposed to call you?
I'm a resident. He never asked my name.
He hadn't even
identify himself.
Ma'am, you've been arguing with me ever since I even stepped up and talked to you. How can I even get your name?
What do you need my name for? I'm not committing a crime. This is harassment.
So far, the officers have told Meka that she isn't suspected of a crime, but that walking and looking into closed businesses is loitering. Also, that she is detained and needs to provide ID because, quote, probably because the encounter didn't go as normal.
Well, probably because of the encounter didn't go as normal.
No, there's no encounter.
Georgia Code 161136 describes loitering as a person in a place at a time or manner not usual for law-abiding individuals. But it just so happens that just down the street is a Mexican restaurant that closes at 8:30 and a Walgreens that was open until 9 p.m. Though they may not have opened for Thanksgiving, Meka is not required to identify herself or answer any questions, but she still tries to tell the officers that she had just finished her dinner and was out for a walk.
Now listen, I'm 43 years old. I've been living in Manchester the whole time, except when I leave and have to go to work and come back home. So it's Thanksgiving Saturday night. I don't know if you guys are probably not from Manchester, but if you've lived here and you've left and you come back home, on a night like this, Thanksgiving, you had dinner with the family, I want to get out, walk the streets that I walked with my grandmother as a little girl.
He's not saying you can't do that. He's just saying you're walking down looking in store windows when they're closed. He's just making sure everything's fine.
I could go to Columbus and do that. It's not suspicious.
You keep interrupting because you don't want us to get to the truth, okay? So just listen to me a second, okay? All he did, see you walking down the street, looking in the stores. He's going to get out and make sure everything's good, that you're not
That's
up to
fine.
something. Well, it's not, because you argue with him instead of just cooperating. All the law requires is that you satisfy his suspicions that there's no crime.
Why am I suspicious?
Nobody said you were suspicious. I said his suspicions.
What is this?
You're twisting everything instead of going with the truth. Just be honest. Just be honest about everything. Don't take him twisted.
No.
I said suspicions, and you said you're suspicious.
Because I'm the only person here.
That's not being true.
I'm the only person. So if you're suspicious,
we're not going to do this, okay? It's not. I don't know if you want to take. If you ain't got nothing else to do, but we do.
I got a lot to do. I want to enjoy my Thanksgiving.
Don't sit here and keep on. I don't think you do. I think you're looking for an argument.
I'm not looking for an argument.
But you're lying when you're sitting there saying I said you're suspicious when I said satisfy his suspicion.
Listen,
just be honest in life. Don't make this something that it's not got to be.
So
Yes, we're in reality right here.
Yes, we are.
And you just said that I called you suspicious when I said yes, you did.
Said he reported suspicion activity. I'm saying I'm the only one here.
No, that's a lie.
So is the building
You're lying
suspicious?
again. You're lying.
Oh my God.
Quit lying. Just be honest.
Okay. What do you want me to be honest about?
I said his suspicions, and you said I said you were suspicious. That's a lie. I did not. That's why he's got cameras going. I've got cameras.
So is he calling the building suspicious? Is he? What's causing this?
Are you serious? You're asking if he's calling a business.
He's calling me.
You would argue with that sign right there, wouldn't you? Yes, you would.
No.
You would argue with that sign. You just asked us if he's calling that business suspicious.
Well, it's only me in the building.
Look, when my child was 3 years old, they wouldn't ask something like that. Come on now. What do you want? All he did was just make sure that you wasn't up to something. That's what they pay us to do, to make sure these businesses. Matter of fact, in a couple hours,
you know what?
he'll be walking Main Street himself to make sure all these doors are locked and everything's
in about
fine.
2 weeks, he'll be walking over there to make sure mine is.
Well, that's fine.
I just told him I'm taking a walk. Nothing's wrong.
You didn't tell me anything like that.
No, because you came up interrogating me.
Interrogated you? Ma'am, all I asked you was a simple question. If you were like, sir, all I did was walk in Main Street, it's Thanksgiving night. That's it. That's it. But you started arguing with me.
But listen.
Apparently I'm profiling you and doing all this other stuff.
Never used the word profile.
Okay, well, that's why you're going with that.
I felt like it was harassment because I'm not breaking a law.
We're not here for your feelings, though. We can't help if maybe you watch too much TV and stuff gets in your head. He's not harassing you. You know what? You don't see him getting out here jumping out on everything.
No.
All he done was seen you walking, looking in the buildings, and he just wanted to make sure everything was good. There was no crime afoot. That's all he did. And you can't make it out to be more than it is.
It's not. It is what it is.
It's not harassment, and that's what that came out of your own mouth.
I'm saying to him, if you're making me out to do something, to be something, then I'm not here walking innocently.
He's just making sure that there is nothing going on.
Ma'am.
So if I'm walking and I look in a window, that's suspicious of a crime?
It's late at night. The stores are closed. It's Thanksgiving Day. You know they're not open.
I know they're not open.
Right there. That right there.
So because they're not open, I can't look in the window?
He didn't say that. He's just making sure that's all you're doing. And there's no way for him to know that unless he gets out with you. This officer done his job, and I'm sorry you're offended by that.
Okay.
But you know you need to toughen your skin up a little bit.
Really?
No, I'm not telling you that. Just toughen up a little bit.
Okay.
You're gonna live a hard life.
That I'm not breaking in the building. Thank you for doing that.
No, he didn't do it for you. He did it for the business owner. Make no mistake about that.
I'm speaking for the business community because I'm a part of the business community. So as a member of the business community, thank you for making sure that I wasn't breaking into the store.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you have a good night.
Thank you.
After calling Meka a liar, inferring that she asks preschool-level questions, and accusing her of saying things she didn't, the officers leave. Later, she went to meet with the police chief to file a complaint and to address her concerns. The recording for the conversation is more than 20 minutes long, so I've cut it down for time here.
You can't stop everybody that takes a look in the window. You just can't do that. And what are you basing it? And what are you basing it on? What about, so is it just looking in the window that seems suspicious? You have to add context. You can't just say, well, I see someone looking in the window. It's a business. It's my job. I have to get to the bottom of that. You're not a robot. You're not a machine.
Right.
You have to be able to add some reason, some logic, some context to the situation.
Reasonable articulable suspicion is the belief by a reasonable person that the suspect violated a law. While the standard is subjective and there is no clear line between what a person would or would not find to be evidence of a crime, a law enforcement officer must articulate the facts they believe show a suspect has committed a crime. For example, a loitering charge would have to include fleeing from an officer or trying to conceal himself or an object. Burglary would need something like a broken shop window or the possession of tools typically used in the commission of a break-in. Simply walking and window shopping fails to meet the standard, and while the officers have every right to speak to anyone and ask questions, their badge does not give them the authority to compel a response or force someone to identify.
He crossed the line with the presumption of guilt. What are you doing over there?
That was just a question. Nobody said
He doesn't
anything
have
about you being
this is
guilty
the thing.
of anything. He asked you what you were doing.
Right. Do I have a right to not answer that?
You should. I mean, why would you not answer it? Why would you not?
What is it his business what I'm doing if I'm not breaking the law?
Well, if you're not breaking the law, why don't you just say, I was up here looking in the window, sir. That's all I was doing.
So I have to prove to him that I'm innocent.
No, all you have to do is answer his question.
I have to prove to him that I'm not guilty.
He's doing his job.
I don't have to say any of that because I'm not under arrest. I'm not being detained, and I'm not.
Do you know what you've been doing? You've been YouTubing too much.
There's too many videos out there. People don't think they have to
You've been watching YouTube.
Questions.
I don't have to answer the questions if I'm not being detained or arrested or doing anything unlawful.
Okay, so you're YouTubing is what you're doing.
The officers continue with their circular reasoning, repeatedly telling Meka that all she had to do was answer the officers' questions. The ironic part is that she did.
On a night like this, Thanksgiving, you had dinner with the family. I want to get out, walk the streets that I walked with my grandmother as a little girl.
He's not saying you can't do that.
And was told afterwards that she was lying and that she was detained and had to ID.
No.
Suspicious activity. I'm saying I'm the only one here.
No, that's a lie.
So is the building under suspicion? What's your issue with me right now?
There's no issue, ma'am.
So can I go?
All I did was ask you a question.
So can I go?
No.
So I'm being detained?
That's right now. You need to identify yourself.
Now, whether you learn the basics of your civil rights through a law school or through YouTube makes no difference if the information is correct. In this case, it is likely true that Meka learned some valuable information from videos like this, but it's painfully obvious that years of holding positions of power have led these officers to a place where they value authority over constitutional protections. Meka's right to travel freely and remain private in her person and effects when not engaging in criminal activity is far more important than the "I have a badge, tell me what you're doing" mentality. The officers continue for nearly 10 minutes, telling Meka that she should have just answered the officers' questions, and that she was detained for valuing her rights. They also tell her that her complaint would not be considered.
Nobody said you did anything wrong.
Okay.
Nobody
so
said
why was I threatened with detainment then?
Because you're sitting there arguing back and forth, not answering questions. This is why you were questioned so much on the road, because you're sitting out wanting to argue.
You were confrontational.
And I can tell you right now, we're not going to sit here and argue anymore, okay?
Wait, give me the paperwork to fill out, please, and I'd like a copy of the tape.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, this you can take the complaint form, but it's not going anywhere.
When you say that I could fill this out, but it's not going anywhere, what do you mean when you say that?
Well, I mean, I've already...
Meaning I'm going to give it to you and you... It's going in garbage or
no,
what?
I'm not. I mean, it's already been looked into. I mean, I've already...
Well, what are you going to do with this report?
What do you want me to do?
No, I don't know. You tell me the procedures. I don't know.
Well, what do you want to happen? You want me to fire the officer for doing his job? Is that what you want?
No.
Well, what do you want then? What good is you filing this complaint? What is going to come of it?
No, what I'm asking, what is
going to come of you filing this complaint?
I imagine that most of us would like for members of law enforcement to know and understand the laws that they're charged with enforcing, and to stay within the constitutional limitations of their authority. That would be a good start, especially because even after filing her complaint, just 5 months later, she was sitting in her vehicle outside her business reviewing emails on her phone when she was approached by a Manchester officer.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm good. The reason I'm getting out with you is we had some thefts over here last couple of nights, and there's been seeing a car. There was a car actually parked up here. Are you work here, or do you own it?
I'm trying to figure out how it happened.
What happened?
The burglaries.
What do you mean?
Because I thought y'all had some type of business patrol.
Yeah, we do. But they hit us. I mean, they hit us one night, and there was a car parked up here. So are you the owner of the business, or?
Yeah.
You are? Okay. Do you have your ID with you, by chance?
No.
You don't have your ID?
Yeah, I do, but for what?
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know who you are.
You should check the city records.
I'm not anywhere to be able to check the city records.
You work for the city.
Yeah, I do.
So
but I don't have access to the city records.
When we fill out this whole thing to get the business license, we fill out all this information to give to the police department.
That don't go to us.
What does that stuff tell us?
It doesn't?
That doesn't go to us. That goes to City Hall. We have nothing to do with that.
But what does that tell us anyhow? It's just a name, right?
No, it tells you everything about the business.
The name, who owns it, right?
Who owns it.
All right. Well, if I look it up and it says Felicia Bridges owns it, right? I don't know if you Felicia Bridges or not unless you present an ID to me. That's why Georgia law issues everybody's ID. And all he's doing is merely asking you to identify yourself to make sure that you're who you say you are. That's all he's doing. It's not nothing personal. It's not nothing like that. All it is simply is an officer trying to do his job, and you're obstructing it right now.
I mean, I'm just trying to get, information to identify that you are supposed to be where you are at this time. All right, being that I mean, if you own the business, then you're supposed to be here, correct?
Are you home? I'm at home. Can you come up to the shop?
Don't call anybody else up here.
Man, right.
Don't call anybody else up here.
I got 2 police officers up here. Pretty much, I look at it as okay. I don't even want to say anything else.
We're just asking you for your ID. That's all he asked you for.
I understand, but
you're wanting it to be
19 Manchester. You get anything back on that tag?
This officer's asking you for your ID.
This is not my first rodeo. Now, can you come
I know it's not. Did you have an incident with Officer Nappy on Main Street?
Yes, I did. About the same thing. Me looking suspicious. Me minding my business and looking suspicious.
You were looking at business windows that night. I remember.
Yeah, window shopping. You know, that's an actual
not
thing.
Not that time at night.
It's 8:30 on Thanksgiving night.
The officer now speaking to her was one of the officers involved in the previous encounter. He brings up the fact that he knows her from that night. Meka calls a city council member, while the officer with the camera walks out of audible range of the conversation to clear his throat. When he returns, his partner is threatening to arrest Meka for refusing to identify.
Look here, either you're going to jail for obstruction or you're going to give it. You call Nail and she can go to jail. I don't care.
He threatened to take me. There was a burglary.
Are you going to give us your ID?
Excuse me. This is a city council.
I know that. Are you going to give us your ID? Or are you going to further obstruct us?
How about you take a report on the burglary?
Ma'am, that's not what we're here for.
We're not here for that.
Why not? My property was burglarized.
All right, you're under arrest.
Now, are you kidding me?
No, ma'am. Put your hands behind your back.
Officer, listen.
Put your hands behind your back.
I'm just now.
And you can put that down.
Listen, you guys should be here to help me.
That's what we're doing right now.
Meka was placed under arrest for obstruction of law enforcement officers because she refused to provide her name. In the officer's report, he writes that he was checking the area for suspicious activity and arrested her for not identifying, using a recent theft in the area as a reason to demand it. Ironically, it was Meka's business that was victim to the burglary in question. Furthermore, the law has been settled for a very long time that a person's mere presence in a high crime area is not enough to justify a detention, Meka immediately secured a criminal defense and a civil rights attorney. She alleges that at her first hearing, the police chief was acting in the role of prosecutor and refused to drop the charges because he, quote, needed to teach her a lesson. Despite filing a formal complaint earlier that year, the Manchester Police Department claims that it has received 0 complaints against any of its officers in the past year. Everything about this situation is an authoritarian nightmare. The local police department seems either clueless as to what this country was founded on, or are intentionally abandoning all that makes America free to exercise their own egos. Meka's criminal trial is still ongoing and will be followed by a civil suit. I will be following up on this incident as it continues, but to get the latest information, I will link Meka's channel and unedited videos below. Be sure to let her know that I sent you. As always, thanks for watching. If you have a video you'd like to submit for review, use the link in the description or pinned comment. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification for future content. And remember to like, share, and comment down below of what you think of this interaction. It really helps the channel. If you enjoy our content, try our other channels, LackLuster Limited for criminal psychology content and The Odd Side for paranormal videos. Shirts and other merchandise are available at the Teespring store. Memberships start at just $1 if you'd like to help further support the channel and get a slick Lack logo next to your name. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. All links are down below.